Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorzi, host of the LindaJoy podcast. Today, I have a repeat wonderful friend of mine that I got to connect recently. We had a powerful conversation, and then even more powerful first episode 320 in the podcast. I'm talking about my wonderful friend, Linda Joy Benn from Brisbane, Australia. We connected in the Serving Circle. Powerful connection, powerful contact. I love the Serving Circle. Just a recap about her. She's been she's had so many things thrown at her. She's lived like multiple lifetimes in one lifetime. you know uh she overcame cancer, trauma, burnout. From burnout to balance, you hit rock bottom, and then you're able to get yourself back up, and so many other beautiful things. Now you're helping people to see things from a different perspective, that we are here to enjoy this playground we call Earth, and find your true purpose, your true passion, your true voice, and go after things that really make you click. And that's what you're here. And also help people, overcome whatever is holding them back. So that's beautiful. Plus, you've been blessed with so many incredible gifts, like overcoming cancer way back in the day, trauma, and so many things. Just each of them by themselves are enough for one lifetime. But for you, you've been hit with all of them. So you've been living like, what, 3, 4, 5 lifetimes for the price of one? Lucky you, eh? And now you're in
That's what I signed up for.
exactly. Now you're in a stage of your life that you're here to share your gifts. And gifts, wow, what a beautiful gifts you've been blessed with. You're already doing this to your, to this episode, my podcast, going in other podcasts, and soon on your podcast. So lots of cool things, beautiful things in line for you. And today we're going to dive even deeper about that chapter of your life that was very, very challenging, which was you overcoming cancer, overcoming cancer. And then we're going to dive into an even bigger question, because, we all, just like you said, you signed up for this. We choose what we want to experience. Life as a school. And one topic that you asked, you mentioned that at the end of the first episode, but I didn't want to continue that, because that would have been an entire episode just by itself. And I said, let's save that for next time. And that is, do we really choose to experience cancer in a lifetime? And if yes, why or why? We're going to dive into all of this in a moment. But first of all, welcome back. It's an absolute honor having you here, Linda.
Thank you, Payman. Great to be back. And hello to your audience. And it's good to be here.
Pleasure's all mine.
Thanks for
Very welcome. So the people who missed it, who don't know you, give us a quick intro. We're going to talk about your business and all that in a moment. But for people who don't know you, who's Linda as a person, as a human being, as a woman?
I'm a fun-loving, adventurous, free spirit who loves to travel, be outdoors, play in the ocean, and be out in nature. And I just, love to stay active. And really at this stage in my life, I love my life. And I can say that with all my heart, because there is so many blessings and so much beauty that I see on a daily basis. And it just makes my heart sing. And it's like, wow, I'm so blessed to be alive. And then I get to meet so many beautiful people like yourself that come into my life, and it's like, wow, this is another blessing.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine. It's an absolute honor. So let's dive right in. So you mentioned that, you've overcome quite a few challenges. Let's put it that way. As you said, eating disorder, family trauma, abuse, cancer, and all of these things. But let's start first with cancer. So take us down to the very beginning. How did it happen? What happened? And how did that? First of all, when did you find out that you had cancer?
when I was 21, and just went for regular checkups, and then they did the tests and it came back cancerous cells. And I was in the middle of about to leave Australia to go on my world adventure. Because as many Australians, you know, we go on a walkabout, and my walkabout was 3 years long, where I backpack around the world. And I did a few trips on my dad's boat before I left. And because my dad's always had charter boats, and not now, he's retired. And so I wanted to spend more time with my dad, because I do love my dad, though, yeah, he's been working through a lot of his wounds, and those trips were quite very, very hard work, but also a lot of abuse while I was on the boat. So, and after I got the test results back, it was, the doctors went, you cannot go, because it's like, no, I've got to leave the country, get as far away from my family as possible. I just knew, I didn't know where I mean, I had a one-way ticket to London via the US, and that's all I'd had planned. And so, but that's what took me on my journey of self-discovery and self-healing and just learning more about who I am, and also searching for love. And I was searching for, where do I belong in this world? And it's searching for, where is home? Because I really never felt at home. And what I discovered is, home is where your heart is.
Exactly.
It's not a physical dwelling. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. It's like, if you're happy and content within yourself and in your heart, then the location's got nothing to do with it. So, yeah, got the diagnosis, and I just knew, you know what, I'm leaving. And I left on my trip, and I never told anybody. I didn't tell even new friends that I met, because I went to San Francisco and I was living there. And it just so happened I met a lady who said, oh, I found out that there's this really good psychic down in San Jose. Would you like to come with me and let's have a reading? I went, absolutely. So that was divine timing and a blessing in disguise. And so we both went and had a reading with this man. And afterwards he said, I don't normally do this, but here's my card and it's got my home phone number on it. Call me. And from that moment, because in the reading, because my friend was in the room as well, he didn't divulge or go into a lot of details. But then when we started talking on the phone, and it was like the floodgates were open and the Pandora's box was open, he knew everything that was going on in my life, where I was heading, which was leaving the planet. And from that moment on, I started visiting him. I'd get the train down to San Jose every week, and I'd just learn. I'd stay overnight. And so I had 2 days every week just absorbing all this information and learning as much as I could from him. And a lot of it I don't consciously remember, but I know that I absorbed it on another level. And that's where my journey, well, that was the crossroads in my life, where I started on my path, because he helped me to understand what my purpose was, why I was here, and why I chose my family, because the cancer was actually created from all the suppressed emotions of the hurt and the sadness that I'd pushed down. I never told anyone, because on the outside I appeared happy, and joyful, and
Mm.
I just pretended everything was good, but deep down I was screaming and suffering inside and in so much pain. And when you're trying to push all that energy down, that takes a lot of energy in itself.
Yeah.
And that's how illness and disease is created.
Mm-hmm.
So he helped me to understand all the roles that my family were playing in this life for me, and what my role was, plus what my purpose was, which is to do the work that I'm doing today and helping others to heal their body naturally and
Mm-hmm.
empower them to take charge of their own health and healing. And this is what put me on my holistic health path of studying and learning as much as I could. But intuitively, and my psychic abilities is what I was born with. So the fact that he came into my life is like I was at a point in my life of self-destruction where I
Mm-hmm.
was leaving, because it's like, you know what? This is all too hard. I'm leaving. And he did several, different readings for me to help me to understand, because I had a younger sister who died at 8 weeks of cot
Oh,
death.
sorry to hear that.
And but he helped me to understand that she came in to protect me in the family, because it was quite a dysfunctional, abusive family, and I was definitely on the outer. So she came in to protect me, but then she looked around and went, well, this is way too toxic, and I'm out of here. And her soul just left. So Dale told me that she helped me from the other side in spirit to help me through my childhood.
Wow.
And so through her guidance, helped me to get through my childhood, because it was pretty horrific. It was a lot of nastiness, and yeah, and which continued even into adulthood. And so meeting him and actually understanding the bigger picture really helped me in my life on such a just a huge understanding of why we choose
Mm.
these lives, and the agreements and the contracts that we have as a soul before we even come down into these bodies. And so we choose our parents, we choose
Absolutely.
our siblings in order for our soul to learn and grow. So I chose my family, who had killed me many, many times in other lives. And this life, I was determined to survive this one. And even though they'd tried with, physically, emotionally,
Wow.
spiritually, or, soul destroying, it is like, yeah, no, I am stronger than this. And I know I'm protected by my helpers in spirit. So going back to the actual cancer, anything that's happening in the physical body has an emotional aspect. There's always a root cause of any ailment or any disease or illness in the body. And when you really look deeply at what that emotion is, what the belief is, what the core wound is, and what old program is running, then you can dissolve that energy and transmute and
Mhm.
heal the body.
Wow.
And that's what I did.
We're gonna get into that in a moment. So many questions, so many wow, fascinating story. Thank you for sharing it. You mentioned this man that you met in San Diego that changed your life. Uh
San Jose.
yes, I was sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So is that man part of one of your soul contracts?
He was sent by spirit to
Mm,
definitely help me. He's no longer in physical form, but he was my teacher
mm,
for many years. and he left this planet in 2006. And interesting, I met my current spiritual teacher in 2004. So it's like the universe sent me another teacher,
Mm,
knowing that Dale was leaving this physical realm.
wow. So you, going back to the cancer, did you have any symptoms of physical pains prior to being diagnosed?
Not really. No physical pain, lots of emotional pain.
Mm,
Absolutely. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. So again, I just didn't show it.
You know, I had just a call just prior to you with an amazing woman from the US, and what she said, she went through a lot of challenges, just like you. Cancer, what is it? Heart attack as a result of the cancer a few years later. And then
Mm,
she lost 135 pounds. She was, and all that. But what she said that really stood out is that the cancer actually is what saved her life. Because up to that point, she was just not taking care of herself. That's why she gained so much weight.
self-destruction.
Yeah, she was always, focusing
Self-destruction.
on the career, money, and all chasing the next
Mhm,
promotion and so on and so forth. She was
mhm.
eating garbage food, so to speak, and then she was getting a lot of, messages from the universe to stop, but she wouldn't pay attention in terms of pain and all that. But then one morning she woke up, and she got the call that she had breast cancer back in 2009 on Christmas Eve. Imagine that.
Mhm,
And that's when she
mhm.
said, well, I need to stop. That's when it really had to, hey, listen, you got to stop. You got to pay attention. And after that, she changed her life. How do you change her life? By one thing, two things she did. One, she completely cut off all sugars from her life and she started going
Mhm,
on walks. From what she
mhm.
said, these two things completely changed her life. In the process, she lost 135 pounds in a year and she was
Mm.
stage two, going on stage three. No, sorry, stage one. And she beat it. And she's been cancer. And she was apparently this was a very aggressive cancer, even though it was diagnosed as stage one, but she was able to beat it by just changing her diet and getting into more
Right.
exercise. And
Exactly.
what she said is the cancer literally saved her life because that literally woke her up.
Well, it is a big wake up call for a lot of people, when you're smacked
Mm,
in the face with this reality of
mm.
like, oh, you're at a crossroads in your life. And that's really what it is. It's like you can keep going down this path and say goodbye, or you can make some major changes in your life and go down this path.
And
And
also,
and and, and what Dale did for me is to point out what was waiting out there, or what this road looked like. And I've come to that place a couple of times, but back then it was more of a wake up of, wow, look what I have suppressed and not dealt with, because I didn't have the tools back then. I didn't have a support system of anyone to talk to. And because on the outside, I was happy, 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 I never talked to friends about
of course,
the all the pain, emotional pain. And I mean, when I was 17 and I was working in Brisbane at a job, and my mother sent a letter and said, a 3-page letter, don't bother coming home because you don't have a home to come to.
what?
And I was devastated, and I hardly slept, and I looked like crap, but I went to work and I took this letter in and I showed my boss, and it got handed around the office. And because I work with a bunch of ladies who were all kind of mothering, because I was 17, I was so young, and they were just shocked that a mother would write such a letter to a daughter. And and it was like, wow. But it was my sister who delivered it
Wow.
to me, and so they were both in on it. And so that's where, and I don't say that to sound like a victim, but yeah, right throughout my life, there was a lot of nastiness. But I'm happy to say that I've forgiven those people and I've healed those relationships. They may not have changed, but I've come to a place of in my life where I forgive them, I feel neutral, and I send them lots of love. And
Certainly.
that's and so I have a relationship with them. And I actually had the last Christmas with them.
Oh, beautiful.
So a healing can occur regardless of anyone's circumstance. And our role in this life is to come to a place within ourselves where we feel peace in our heart and self-forgiveness and forgiveness of the other people who have wronged us or hurt us, and heal that energy between us so that you are free. And it's really about you feeling free of the hurt and the guilt and the remorse or the anger or the shame or hopelessness or whatever the emotion is, because that's what will destroy you. Because all those negative emotions that are really low vibration, and that's what will eat away at the body. And what one of the tools I teach my students is the map of consciousness. It's developed by David Hawkins, who wrote the book Power versus Force, and he shows the scale from a 0 to 1,000, and anything 200 and below is really low vibration, negative energies, and 500 is at 500. Sorry, love is at 500, and you got love, peace, and joy. So they're the higher vibrations to live in and sustain your life. And if anything is, if you're thinking those lower energies, and especially long term, well, that's when different ailments can occur in your life. So everything that occurs on the physical is a metaphysical reason of what we are thinking about, what energy and stories are what we're telling ourselves, what energy we're putting out there, and then we've manifested something in the physical body, because the thoughts start from the spiritual, and then they keep moving down through all the layers, and then they come into the emotional layer. And then if we keep ignoring those signs, well, then it will manifest somewhere in the physical body. So it's looking at where in the physical body you have that pain or that ache or that illness or that disease or whatever. I was talking to someone this morning, and she went, oh, I've got, I'm a toothache and I'm in a lot of pain. And it's like, well, which tooth? And you can actually ask that tooth specifically, what's the message? And when clients physically come and see me, or even when I'm working with them on Zoom, if they've got some kind of ailment in their body, it's like you can tune in. And this is why I created my 5-day discovery, to show people how you can take charge of your own health, your own well-being, and heal your own body.
Yes,
By understanding what the root cause is, and take your power back and take charge of your own health and heal it and transmute that energy. Stop paying money, paying money out to all these practitioners and doctors and therapists and pills and all these gadgets, because you can just tune into your own body and ask your body what it needs.
Absolutely, because from my understanding, every disease that we have is a symptom, is a representation, as a result of what's going on inside, especially the stress, the trauma and all that. Wow, that's
And
powerful.
if you keep ignoring it, it will build up in energy. And that's when people wake up and it's like, oh, I've got the flu and I need to stay in bed, because it's like the body
Yeah.
is at a point where now you're forced to just stay in bed and rest and meditate and reflect on what's going on in your life, withdraw from the world and all the busyness and the stress out there, and take time to recover. And in that recovery, you're receiving all the downloads, especially right now. We're in 2024. There's so many people awakening on the planet, so many downloads, so many insights. There's the veil has lifted on the planet, and so the messages coming through, and all the solar flares and everything that's happening, there is so much light on the planet that if you're not waking up, it's like you must be under a rock, because it's like it's blinding. It is so bright,
I
and
know,
it's fabulous. Though this is everything I've been teaching for the last 20 years, to help people to shift consciousness, expand their awareness, connect all 12 strands of DNA. You are connected. You are never disconnected. So it's like, listen and tune into your body and ask your body what it needs, because you've got all the answers within you. And that goes the same with supplements as well. You can ask your body what it needs. And so you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money. Maybe, and this is something I was guilty of, a couple of decades ago, because I was studying nutrition and I was very passionate. And so whatever we were studying, it's like, oh, well, I need that and I need that. And I worked with a naturopath. So basically I could get any supplements, plus I'd ask him to make up these herbal remedies because I was always detoxing and cleansing. And even he said at the time, my God, you must have the cleanest bowels in Brisbane because you're always cleansing. So you can go to the extremes of trying to fix your body, and then you end up stuffing things up. So it's like everything in moderation, but tune in. What does your body actually need right now?
So powerful. Would you say this is your gift? This is your mission, your purpose in this lifetime, to awaken people to really get in touch with themselves? And for you to achieve that, to awaken to that, you had to go to cancer yourself. Would you agree with that? With that statement?
Yeah, that was, because that's what put me on this holistic path of mind, body, spirit, and how the mind body connection works, and how easy we can create illness in our body
Mm.
just by our thoughts.
The stress, what we bottle up, what we keep inside. Yes, absolutely.
That's right. And if it's unresolved, we all came here to experience different events, different traumas, have these experiences in order for our soul to learn and grow. And we have the opportunity to either stop, like, oh no, this is all too hard and I want to leave, which I did. It was like, or it's like, you know what, I take back my power, I can heal my body. And also, it doesn't matter who or what in the external world and what they do to me. No one can hurt me, harm me, or destroy me, because I am solid. I am strong as a soul. I know I'm protected by source. And yes, there's a lot of nasty people in the world, but I'm not a victim. And yes, I've healed my body several times.
Beautiful. Let's get back a little bit. Why did you choose to come back with this family in this lifetime in such a toxic and very difficult, challenging environment?
Karma,
Ah,
karma.
unfinished business. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And in all the other lives, I was killed for teaching my spiritual teachings.
Maybe because in those
And,
times
and
people not ready yet. And now because
no,
it's awakening, that's why it's more, it's possible for you to actually achieve your goal.
exactly. So in all those previous lives, they burnt me at a stake, they called me a witch, they poisoned me, it killed many different ways because it wasn't accepted back then. Though I chose this life to help with this huge awakening and ascension that's happening on the planet right now. And I chose a family that have taught me in so many ways to love and accept myself and not look for love and acceptance and approval and acknowledgement from the external world. And so the fact that I'm not looking for that love from them, it's like I have it within me. And that's been the biggest learning. And also the other, and this is where the forgiveness part comes in. When my mum was pregnant with me, I was going to be destroyed.
Ah, wow.
So,
Like
but
avorted?
yes.
Wow.
And because she was in a very unhappy marriage and she really didn't want to be in the marriage. But she loved me enough in order to have
He
me.
loves you enough at the soul level, not at the physical level.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So
Okay.
when I was born, I wasn't breastfed. I was basically, yeah,
Wow.
I mean, obviously I got some kind of nutrition because I'm still
Because he's
here
still here,
today.
you know?
Yeah, that's right. Though, yeah, she said she got very sick and she wasn't able to breastfeed me. So
Mm.
it is what it is. Though there's so many aspects because I know everyone has different stories and they've chosen their parents, and a lot of families are very close. Though, because I haven't been close to my family, it's allowed me to travel the world and I've got the freedom to go anywhere. I don't have to ask for approval from anyone, and no one's stopping me from living my dream life, plus teaching what I'm meant to be teaching. And I'm just out there doing whatever I need to do. And they don't ever stop me because they really are not interested in my
It-
life.
Just piggyback on that, just a thought came to mind. By the fact that initially we're not close with them, you had no one to answer to, so to speak, you're able to spread your wings and fly on your own and explore the world, get your awakening. Wasn't a way for you to come back and illuminate your family and put your grudges and all aside and make the first step. Hey, I'm sorry. Let's make peace. Let's get back together. We're more than just our differences. Let's come together. Do you see things that way?
Well,
That's
it's
how it
only
seems to
been,
me.
yeah, it actually took a few more decades.
Of course, it's a yeah, but that's a
So
very overly
it,
simplified version, you know.
it's, yes, fast forward, happy days now.
Very ice
Though
summary.
that's right, but there was a lot more trauma and tragedy
Oh
in
yes.
between those years, and yeah, many
Wow.
more stories. Yeah.
So how did it feel for you? When did you feel that you were ready to come back to your family, not just physically, but also to try to reunite, make men's meet, and to make peace again and to start communication again? Was it a specific moment in your life? Was it something progressive and gradual?
It was progressive.
Mm,
I noticed they started being kind,
mm.
and I was invited to a family event. So it
Wow.
was like,
You're not
wow.
expecting it, eh?
No, no, because I was, yeah, very much ostracized.
And
So
when you got there, were you received warmly and happily, or
they were polite,
okay? That's a good
polite.
start.
Yes. And being polite, being kind, happy with that.
Respectful, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And then that opened
Yes.
the road for you, your heart to. They made the first step. Now it's for me to meet them and do my part in a way. And then after that, as I said, the rest is history. Of course, in a very high level and summary, you know.
Well, and I feel that the energy shifts on the planet have also helped.
Absolutely.
And it definitely, yeah, there's been a shift where maybe they're more accepting, because before I just didn't feel safe.
That's very, that I agree. How much of that is also due to the fact that when you came back, you were a completely different person as well. You were much more, I don't know, maybe much more awakened, compassionate, more patient, more understanding as well.
Came back from where?
From wherever you were, because you said you were away from them and then you get invited and then you notice that they were
Right.
more kinder to you, you know, and they made that first step and everybody, yes, the fact that the planet was going to a ascension of energy that helped, of course, but also you in the process, you became a different person. You became closer to embrace finding and embracing your gifts, we are your true purpose, your mission. And then they see that maybe energetically and at the soul level,
Mhm.
they knew it, and that translated into them behaving in a different way, more welcoming way in a physical
That's right.
realm.
Exactly.
Wow,
Exactly. Yes.
that's
Yes.
powerful.
And just being accepting that that's who they are, and just accept them for who they are, not trying to change them, not trying to even share my beliefs, or there's certain subjects I just know not to even open up.
Because you're not ready. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And so, a couple of decades ago, I was very passionate about, my spiritual beliefs, but then that just ostracized me even more because
Was
that triggered them.
was your family religious growing up
No,
or
not
not at all?
really.
No. Spiritual?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no,
And now
no.
you guys are all in good terms?
Well, like I said, it's friendly.
That's good enough. That's a great start. Absolutely. Beautiful.
I wouldn't say close, but they're polite and friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yes.
So
And
many.
and I just get on with my life and do what I came here to do, for my highest good and destiny, in order to help others on their path, and also to help others who have maybe had similar experiences to me, and then I can help them through how, wherever they're at, I can also help them on their journey
So
to come to that place of peace.
here's a happy question that came to mind. So now that in this lifetime you're on track to successfully complete your mission, your purpose, in this lifetime that you were struggling in the past, what is your next mission in the next lifetime? Let's speculate.
My next lifetime.
What's your purpose, your mission in the next lifetime now that you mastered and successfully completed this mission? Well, or you're about to complete it successfully.
Well, I'm still mastering this one. and,
Yeah, true. Let's project ourselves in the future. Let's play out, let's have some fun, you know?
and so I'm still, yeah, mastering, self mastery. It's you keep learning and growing and upgrading as a soul right up until you choose to leave this physical realm. And then as the soul, when you do leave, you take all your earthly experiences into spirit world, And then you continue to learn more spiritual upgrades, and then you can choose to come back to Earth in order to continue. Well, for my case, I was sent back. I really didn't want to come back. And this is something Dale told me, is I was in spirit world for about 1,000 years and I resisted. And then, yeah, spirit went, you need to get back there. And it's like, no. And
As soon as you get back, as soon as you'll be done with it, you know?
and well, but they promised me that this life would be much easier. And so I was throwing a tantrum and quite angry, because it's like, you lied. This has been horrible, you know. This is
Did you at
yeah.
any time in your worst time, in your darkest hours, considered exiting this physical world? Did say, this
Oh,
is enough, I can't
absolutely.
handle it, I'm done, screw all this, screw you guys, I'm by myself, I don't want to continue anymore?
Absolutely. Many, many times. Suicide and depression has always been underlying.
Mm.
Yeah, even though I know that I'm here on my soul's mission and purpose, but the depression and the suicide, it's always kind of been running there in the background, where I can choose. Again, everything in life is a choice. You can choose to go down there and spiral down into the pit, or you can choose to fulfill your life's mission and your life's goal and continue on why you came here in the first place.
So,
And no one's a victim in this life.
so the obvious question that comes here is, how does one find out what is their mission in this lifetime before having your spiritual awakening? Because once you become a spiritual awakened, then you understand. But before it, how the hell do you even start the first step? How do you know where to go?
Tuning in, and this is where the
Mhm.
self-discovery comes into, and yeah, that question, that's like a whole podcast in
Oh,
itself,
I know.
because
Let's
there's
do that part 3.
many it's like you really, it's about you tuning in and connecting, not just to your higher self, but connecting to your soul, and in
Mhm.
a lot of deep reflection and asking those questions. Why am I here? And I kept asking, why is this happening? And just keep asking, and then journaling.
So,
And I've kept journals for many, many decades.
so
So I've done a lot of brain dumps.
let's expand on that. So, what saved you from committing suicide, for not giving up?
I would say divine intervention.
How did you get in
Yeah.
touch with that? Through meditation, through just prayers, or just encouragement, inspiration from other people?
Yeah, it's just amazing. Spirit would send different people into my life, a bit like how I met Dale. Divine intervention. I was going down a path of self-destruction, and he was sent into my life, took me under his wing, and just taught me so much, which turned my life around. And he's the reason I'm still here today. So certain people come into your
Yes.
life at the right time,
Mm,
and that's the turning point. And
absolutely.
that's divine intervention. Well, whatever you want to call it,
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
like God steps in and go, whoa, stop, and it's a bit like those miracles, different accidents, what could have been fatal. It's like truck, car, I mean, you see it all the time, and it's like, oh my God, a miracle just happened. How did this person survive that? That's divine intervention. It's
Yes.
like the angelic realm comes in and just changes things, you know. I mean, we're talking seconds
Oh,
of
absolutely.
stops.
Split second. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that in my life many times. When you're at your lowest, when you were the most vulnerable, did you get attracted? I mean, did you get into any addiction like alcohol, drugs, or anything as a way to escape?
Well, my addiction was the food and the eating
Oh,
disorder.
okay.
So the eating and the purging, because I hated myself so much, hated my body, and so I was starving my body and
Oh,
just,
you were starving. Okay, not overeating. Okay, wow. Okay.
well, I had bulimia as well, but yeah,
Oh,
that was just all self-destruction of not giving my body the nutrition that it required in order to live a healthy life. So that
was that
was my way of another way of self-destruction, but also self-hatred
so? The eating disorder, was that before the cancer or after the cancer?
before
Okay. How old were you when you got the cancer?
21.
21. Wow, quite a young age. Wow.
Mm.
What was your reaction when you told at 21 you're supposed to be your healthiest that hey, you have cancer? You must have been devastated.
Uh, it was upsetting, but I think I was in so much emotional pain
Mm,
already. I was more upset with, well, who do I talk to?
mm.
And who do I trust? And who's my support system? And then I realized, wow, I really don't have anyone.
So who was
And
there to
then,
support you?
well, no one. That's when I left the country to find my soul family, because the family I was living in were not that nice to me. So I, yeah, I didn't feel safe to open up to them in regards to what was happening.
So did you start the treatments in Australia, then you left the country, or did you
No,
study treatment and you said you went to the US, right?
yes.
Okay, so you got the treatment in the US. Okay. Wow.
So yeah, though when I uh, was in the US, like I had a treatment there, but it was through spending months with Dale that was the main healing. And then by the time I got to London, I went in and I had a checkup and I had a final treatment there, just to clean things up and make sure that everything was okay.
Wow. What a story. What a story.
Hmm.
Listen, there's so much more that we can dive in deeper. We definitely need to do a part three, but let's wrap it up today. Once again, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Is via my website, lindabenn.com, or find me on any social media, or Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest,
Pigeon. No, I'm joking.
Pigeon.
Message in a
Yeah, just
bottle. I'm joking.
call in a pigeon and send them a message. And yeah, I have a lot of birds
Fire.
visit. That's it. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, I salute you. You treat it with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world with your presence, your impact, your smile, and your gifts. Because you've been blessed with phenomenal gifts. You're a gift yourself, my friend. Keep sharing them around you far and wide, loud and proud. So I salute you. Stay safe. Stay awesome. God bless you. Definitely gonna talk again.
Thank you.
We have to do part three because there's so much more we need to unpack. Take care. Have a
Okay.
fantabulous day, and talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks, Payman. Bye, everyone.
Linda.